When a dead person appears in your dream, this is what it means. If you see a dead person, whether relative, spouse, etc., in your dream, that person is. By God's grace, in today's video, I wish to share with you a continuation of the video I've shared about when you see someone in your dream. And in that particular video, I was emphatically emphasizing about living person. But today's video, I wish to share based on the kind of some comment that come out of it. What if it's a dead person, like some are asking? Even though in the past I've made video about when you see a dead person in your dream, what it means. So today I want to expatiate that particular kind of scenario whereby in the dream you are seeing a dead person, whether that dead person is your relative, somebody you know, or your spouse or colleague, anyone, but you are sure that this person is dead and you are seeing this person in the dream. What actually is the meaning? If only follow me to the end of today's video, I will be sharing that amazing information. But before then, please give this video a like so that YouTube algorithm will also shift it to other people that need it. As so may God bless you. Welcome back to Jenny Action TV. In this particular channel, I discuss 3 important variables which actually help safety and spirituality. In this channel, we pray strategic prayers, we read the word of God in and out, we believe in balance. That is actually why we do spiritual work. So if this is the very first time you're finding yourself in this beautiful family, you are highly welcome. Please kindly hit the red subscribe button and the bell notification so as to always get my next upload. For my returning subscribers, I love you so much. Thank you for always stopping by. So without wasting time, let's dive in. We go ahead. Remember that our crossover to 2025 with authority and the confidence is coming up on a WhatsApp platform. Though I am going to make also a powerful cleansing bath video that you use to cleanse nyama of all this year that is passing in order to enter new year anew. But for those that are interested in more powerful symbolic directions that will help you to achieve all your intentions next year, don't hesitate to chat me with this number, please, only on this particular issue, and then I will give you the condition. If you meet the condition, you will be in, and that is all. So having been said, I want us to start today's video by reading 2 portions of the Bible, Malachi 4, 5-6, and Matthew 17, 11-13, and I wish to appeal. Please drop your honest interpretation and opinion about these particular 2 places in the comment section. What do you make out of that particular quotes? So let's start from the last book of the Bible, Malachi, and then enter the first book of the Bible, Matthew, what Jesus himself actually said. So Malachi chapter 4, verse 5-6. And it says, "Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of great and dreadful day of the Lord." Verse 6. "And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to the fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse." Now let's see Matthew 17, verse 11-13. Matthew 17, 11-13 says, all right, "And Jesus answered and said unto them, Elijah truly shall first come and restore things. But I say unto you that Elijah is come already, and they knew him not, but have done unto him whatsoever they listed. Likewise shall also the Son of Man suffer for them." 13. "Then the disciples understood that he spoke unto them of John the Baptist." Now, that particular Malachi chapter 4 verse 5-6 is talking about like a prophecy that Elijah will still come again and reconcile the heart of the father to the children and make all things beautiful. And then Jesus on his own now said in Matthew 17 verse 11-12 that Elijah has already come, but they did not know. And then the disciples helped to conclude it by saying that Elijah is John the Baptist. Please explain clearly what this means. Does it mean that Elijah reincarnated as John the Baptist? Or does it mean that though Elijah is dead, but the spirit is very much alive? So that will take us to the video of today. That when you see someone that is dead in your sleep, you need to understand this three things. One, that somebody is dead does not mean that the spirit is dead. Man is a tripartite being: spirit, soul, and body. And the two, you have to understand that there is existence of spiritual world like this, just like we have physical world like this. And to prove it to you, in Genesis chapter 1, when God wants to create man, he said, come, let us create man in our own image, after our likeness, that they will have dominion over the earth. And Bible record in that Genesis chapter 1 that in the beginning God created heaven and earth. So where was God before creation of heaven or earth? And that's justify the fact that there is existence of spiritual world. And thirdly, that somebody has died has not made that person not to be able to communicate, not to be able to speak, and not to be able to relate with the living. And on this note, I wish to present to you this, that this is the meaning of somebody who is dead appearing in your dream. Number one is visitation and guidance. Do you know that sometimes your deceased relative may be guiding or communicating with you, offering wisdom and comfort? You know, when we are growing up, especially me, when I have not gotten the understanding of spirituality in the manner God is taking me to, whenever you see somebody that is dead in your dream, you start praying, you start fasting, Biden and reason, speaking in tongue. Reason is that we are told that it simply means that spirit of dead is after you, my dear. It's not every time you see somebody that is dead in your dream actually means that spirit of dead is after you. Are you aware that some of your dead relatives who lived their life well, who are in very good tone with you, have graduated into becoming your guardian angel? They are part of the group of your guardian angels. That's why I normally tell you that everyone you see on this earth is being followed by forces. One of the forces that are following you, take it or leave it, is your deceased relatives. Now, Bible record in Hebrew 12 verse 1, being surrounded by so great cloud of witnesses. Who are this great crowd of witnesses? Not only the living, you know, the dead also sees. And if Jesus had mentioned it, that Elijah, who has died since, has also come back again and will still yet come back again, that's to tell you that the spirit of the Elijah is very much alive, even in this particular dispensation. Of course, I know that when God called me, called me as Elijah. That's why sometimes when people come to make some comment as if I'm Jesus, I'm not Jesus. I am only ambassador of Christ in the spirit of Elijah, because that was what God told me, called me as. So that is why Elijah, his own prophecies or his own ministry, if I be a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and but that's why I don't mercy for enemy. If you are not looking, if you don't want fire to fire, please just be a good person. Don't be doing evil. Don't be casting wicked spells against your brother and sister, because back to sender is my second name. So please, whenever your dead relative actually comes to you, it simply means he might be guiding you. He might be just visiting you to comfort you in the time of your need, and probably you had some encounters, some challenges, something bad actually happens to you, and then the person suddenly appears in your dream looking a kind of pitifully to you. He is just trying to a kind of commemorate with you and tell you sorry about that, because this dead sees beyond what we the living cannot see, because once they die they become spirit, and spirit have no limitation. That is why even if you want to lock your door, and the spirit will still pass through the wall and be around you. So that is number one. Number two is this unresolved emotions. If it happened that before the passing on of that your deceased relative or that person or that spouse, there are certain issues going on between you two that was not resolved, that person may be appearing in your dream in order to find a closure. Seeing a dead one, dead relative, or even dead spouse in the dream may be that that person is seeking for healing and reconciliation. That person demise from this world when two of you are one way or the other not in agreement over certain issues. Then, in order to reconcile and for the person to rest in peace, because take it or leave it, it's not everybody you tell rest in peace that is resting in peace. Some people are actually resting in pieces. And I physically said it that everything that is existing physically is existing spiritually. Something happened. I was actually discussing with one of the spiritual persons because there is a way God links spiritual people together, and she was shocked about the revelation that her relative, who had accident and was in coma for 2 days. After 2 days, he was able to rise again and be normal. That during her coma period, that the woman says she left, her spirit left her body and then went to the spiritual world. That was almost admitted into the spiritual world because once she's admitted there, she's dead. That she was shocked. That plate was a kind of spread on the ground and they were dishing cooked food for all the people, that she started seeing all her dead relatives that has died since. And then to prove this to you, go and shake anybody that have had out of death experience, and then one way or the other that have been in coma and happen to visit the land of dead, or that is very sick and near to death. The person will always be telling you that he has started seeing his dead relative, because those ones are really preparing in order for you to come back and join them in the spiritual world. That it was then that her mother that was dead now pushed her and say, go back immediately, it's not yet your time. Your food plate is not here. Your portion is not here. And that was how she returned. And before you know it, she came out of coma. So take it or leave it. What is in the spiritual is also in the physical. That's why I normally tell you, when you are doing any spiritual work or prayer, that the things you are looking for is already there in the spiritual world. It's only faith that is the currency you need to buy them over to this physical plane. So probably there is certain issues you are going through that your dead relative want to help you to resolve. Some people that are spiritually gifted have seen it one time or the other. Maybe your dead relative just tell you, go and get that particular leaf, just as Isaiah told Hezekiah to go to the bush and fetch a particular leaf and use it to cure himself. That might just be why that person is appearing, in order to give you guidance on that aspect. Another one is what I call ancestral influence. Whether you like it or not, all of us are coming from an ancestor, and our first ancestors by covenant, I said it in the other video, that's the one I'm talking about, someone appearing to you in your dream, and the emphasis was a living person. Somebody was trying to drag you with me that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is not our ancestor, unless this Almighty God, the creator of the universe, the God of heaven and earth that they are serving, is not your God. If it's your God and you are a Christian and you are saying this, then it means that you don't really know who you are, because we don't see God, we don't touch God, but we only believe by faith. And the same faith, God has linked us to Abrahamic covenant by the covenant that is upon Abraham as the chosen one. We are all chosen under him, and if Abraham has transferred the patriarchal blessing to Isaac, and Isaac transferred the same to Jacob, and we are all descendants of Jacob, we are partakers of that particular blessing. That's why we normally sing in our churches, Abraham blessings are mine. So on what premise are you claiming Abraham blessings when you dissociate yourself and say it is for Jews, you are Greek, you are Hebrew? Well, it's up to you. I used to say this, everybody is a believer, it depends on what you believe, but my own belief and what God has taught me is that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are my first ancestors. And if I can give them respect, if I will still call God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, how come the fathers that I've been with, like my own father that I've been with physically that left this world, I'll suddenly begin to no longer venerate him, no longer recognize him, no longer know that he's my father? That is a lie. The truth is that though they may be dead, they are still your ancestors. Bible says, honor your father and your mother, that your day may be long. That at one point in time, you go to their grave, sweep it, take flour to there, and then make some one or two requests. Take care of us, so we are here. We still know that you are resting well, Daddy. That don't allow any evil to befall any of us. I know that God in heaven is watching over you and also watching over us, and we ourselves we trust and believe that God will help us and that God through you will also help us. I don't see anything wrong with that, or is there anything wrong with that? Comment down below. So one way or the other, why they appear in your dream is simply because they are giving you guidance, they are giving you protection, they are giving you wisdom, but that because one way or the other you have been recognizing, you have been honoring them, and because of that they wouldn't allow any evil to happen to you. So once they want to happen, they will appear. Let's take for instance biblical example. Do you notice that Samuel actually appeared to Saul in book of First Samuel, Samuel 28 verse 3 to 20? Your own leisure time, read it. The prophet Samuel, though deceased, though dead, actually appeared to his disciple, offering guidance and they comfort to them. Is it Jesus? Did Jesus not appear to his disciple? Though we say that he's a God, he raised on the third day, and then after being with them, he finally left. But how come that time he rose from dead, even when you will try to come and touch, he say, no, don't touch me, and so on and so forth? Why? Because he's no longer in the same flesh as we. He has been transformed, renewed, and for that reason, he is no longer at that status of human being they used to know. Matthew chapter 5 verse 23 to 24 that said, if thou bring your gift to the altar, and there you remember that somebody has something against you, that you should drop that gift and go and make peace first. Now some of you, either your father, your mother, your spouse actually cursed you when they are alive. One way or the other, their spirit is very angry with you before departure from this world. And one way or the other, they suddenly start appearing in your dream. When you are now praying, you saw that every door is locked. You have tried all your possible best in order to make headway, and there is no headway being made. My dear, that may be as a result of that unresolved problem, unresolved emotion that happened between you and that your deceased father, mother, spouse, or relative that has passed on, especially those that have covenant right over you. Bible made us to understand that we should honor our father and mother, that our day may be long. It didn't say honor them when they are alive or honor them when they are dead. It say honor them. So now, even if your father or your mother is dead and they happen to curse you when they are alive, whether you like it or not, that is an unresolved emotions. That is an unresolved problem that can still make that your deceased relative start appearing in your dream, because one way or the other he is disturbed and you yourself, you are not at peace, and he's looking for closure. His spirit is looking to be appeased, and the one way or the other to be at peace with you, and that might be the exact reason why that person appears in your dream. So check out yourself very well and find out why, if you see any of your deceased relative, your husband, and find out why he's appearing. Maybe you have children with him and the children are going haywire, and then you now hide under the cocoon that you are a woman. You are not cautioning them the way they're supposed to, because it's human beings that have power on this earth. They don't have such power to caution them other than manifest to you through dream in order to give you direction or caution you that all is not well. You have to shake, even if they did not communicate. When you see them in the dream, the mood, a kind of a facial expression and how they are in that dream will be communicating to you that something is not well. It will help you to find a closure and check inward to know actually why they are coming. Number 3 is that your deceased relative might actually be appearing in your dream just as a note of caution or warning. They may be cautioning or warning you about something that may happen or that is likely happening that will help you, or evil plans that somebody might have against you. That reminds me, 2 weeks ago, somebody I know very well, who is also a spiritual person that I respect, suddenly called me on phone, and then I missed the call. Later I called back. Now said that while she was cooking in the kitchen, that physically a fair man, tall, and explained everything about the man, appeared to her and tell her to go and warn me that some people are planning evil against me, and even gave me prayer direction I will do to scattered that plan. I laughed because when she gave that description, I already know that is my father, my earthly father that died when I was in JS2 1992. So I was not surprised because I have had a lot of manifestation of my father appearing to me one way or the other, dream of first and physically. And when he was alive, I was the favorite daughter. I remember he normally takes me to the hospital believing that I will be the one to replace him as a medical doctor. But along the line, I didn't end up as a medical doctor and that he was. However, that is to tell you that sometimes they might appear to warn you. So when she finished describing, I say it's my father. And the woman was surprised. And later I now say, but why will he appear to you and didn't appear to me? He will only come in the dream, but I will see him physically. The woman now said that she knows that he don't know who he is. One. And secondly, that he knows also that I might be afraid seeing him physically. And you know that it didn't take 1 week that those people planning evil against me was clearly exposed to me. And trust me, my back to sender spell works instantly. I have to do justice to that rubbish. So what am I telling you? Your dead relative, whether you like it or yes, may appear to you at one point or the other in order to caution or warn. So that somebody is dead does not mean the person does it. That is why you have to be careful of what you do or what you say. One of the natural laws you don't break. By God's grace, those that are going to be in third kind of cohorts in our Waking Mind Spirituality Academy is going to study some of the dons in under this universe that when you do it, things will turn against you. One of the dons about dead people is that you don't speak ill of the dead. Even though they have gone, speaking ill of them makes them to hear it from the spiritual world. And they won't, because each time you mention their name, whatever name you bear in this world is sounding and echoing very loud in the spiritual world. So likewise, when they demise and be in the spiritual world, when you mention their name, it also echoes. So whatever you're saying, they're hearing it, and it can make them to work against you. Because this familiar spirit we are talking about, who are they? They are just family spirit. Those spirits that have gone, deities of the forefathers, and so on and so forth, that are walking about in your family. And some of them that are evil are just looking for a loophole in order to stand as a legal ground to torment that person or torment you. So you have to be careful of what you do, because believe me, that somebody is dead has not made that person not to hear or perceive any action or inaction, because actually the spirit is still very much alive. The only thing that died is this physical flesh, and probably the soul left to take his judgment, either to be in heaven or hell. And that is why Bible records that on the last day, when Jesus will come, that everyone will rise again, both the dead and the living. That even if people that are swallowed by the river and then crushed by accident, whatsoever means they die, they will still come alive again. How come? Because the spirits are still alive. The important thing is that whenever you see your deceased parents, specifically, it may indicate wisdom, guidance, or reassurance that even though they're dead, they are still watching over you and taking care. Number two is if you see deceased spouse, it may symbolize unresolved emotion, longing, or a need for closure. That is why I normally tell people, if you are married and your husband is late, try to do separation. How do you do separation? Is very simple. Get a local egg. Take it or leave it. God is the one who created all these things. And the one word, everything God created have a kind of spiritual powers. Know this and know this very well, that at the wedding, that is when you and your husband got married, and once you have sexual intimacy with anybody, two of you are one spiritually, and one word or the other, that person is living in you and you are living in that person. If you don't do separation, the person will be constantly appearing in your dream, and they're assuming you want to remarry, because there is a kind of open roof for a marriage if you want. The person may be interfering with it. The person may not allow you peace, because that jealousy will still be there, even from the spiritual world. And may I shock you, some people you are calling spiritual spouse may actually be that your husband or boyfriend that you have intimacy before he passed on, and out of jealousy he's still holding very strong to you. That is why once you lose your spouse, say you know anybody that lose the spouse, the person need to use local egg, do egg cleansing, and separate him or herself from that particular man, because egg represent new life, new beginning, transformation. So the person cleans from east to west, north and south, and then get red oil and salt, rub it, declaring that so long as red oil and salt will always blend together, that so shall nature and everything God created be is our friend, that is separating totally from a person that have died, because dead and living have nothing in common anymore. Otherwise, if it's a too jealous lover or too jealous spouse, he might actually want to draw you to come and join him. When you do that, you go and then drop it at 4 Road Junction, go without looking back, without breaking it. One word or the other, your old self is gone, and you will never have problem again. And then when you are done, you must have to get fertility leave. You will need to get fertility leave, boil it, add salt, use it to have a cleansing bath. By God's grace, you'll be totally separated. And then if the person is appearing to it, will be on neutral ground, not out of jealousy or evil in order to take you away, one way or the other. Likewise, there comes a time when evil relatives also that have died, or somebody that you know that is evil, and the person is appearing, and every time it's appearing to hurt you. Do this same recipe with egg and fertility leaf. And then where you cannot get local egg, get organic egg that is laid by fowl, not company manufactured egg. It might be agric, use it, but the best is actually local egg. Now I will tell you the truth, and by God's grace you will notice that is selling, especially for those that are not there for guidance but are appearing for negative reasons. Now dream of a deceased child. If your child has gone and is appearing, it may represent unresolved grief or desire for reunion. I know that you can never reunite with somebody that is dead, so one way or the other you have to still do this separation to free yourself, so that that's your child, because one way or the other they have the power you don't have. That's why we say spiritual rules the physical. So the child will not, out of innocency that I just want to be with my mom, and then also become jealous that other of the siblings that are in the world are still enjoying you, draw you to him or her. Okay, so now how do you respond when you see them in your dream? And then how do you also interpret whether their coming is for evil or good? Consider their emotions. How are they looking when you see them? Like some days back, one of the channel member actually shouted me that he saw the late mom like kind of in the prison crying profusely in the dream. That is a sign of evil. That is a sign of telling you that something is not all right, and that is a kind of a level where you may need to consult with a spiritual person to actually know what is going on. So that is by the way. And again, you have to pray for wisdom and discernment. Bible said in James 1 verse 5 that he that lack wisdom should ask, so that God that giveth liberally to all men will give you, so that you will know exactly why they are coming and how to handle it, especially if you are such that have offended your dead relative. Before the demise of that person, you may need wisdom on how to go about making peace. And then you need to write and reflect your dream, because dream is a strong communication signal, communicating either what has happened in the past, what is happening presently, or what is happening in the future. Your constant documenting of your dream will be able to pick out the ones that is always reoccurring, and if a particular one is reoccurring, then there is a deeper meaning that you must have to find out. And that is where, if your person cannot interpret your dream, you may need to look for support from somebody who can actually interpret dream. When Pharaoh dreamt, that dream remove his peace. He have to find interpreters, and that was what brought Joseph to limelight. So one way or the other, you have to seek serious support from people who knows better than you, from spiritual persons, spiritual mentor, from those you know that have the capacity to interpret, to know what is happening, in order to finally address any unresolved emotions or need, in order to make sure that you are always in the right track, and whatsoever that diseased person is coming to do will not turn out to be of a negative consequences. So don't forget to come and enroll in Awaken Mind Spirituality Global Academy to know more, as well as join our crossover with authority and grace and for a crossover into 2025 with authority and grace, because that is our season of supernatural turnaround as well as year of uncommon grace and favor. So, if you have not subscribed to be part of this family, what are you waiting for? Kindly smash that red subscribe button and the bell notification so as to always get my next upload. Comment on this video, share it widely to everyone. I'm sure I'll be helping a lot of people as you do so. May God bless you. So, with this, I say, enjoy.